What is good, beautiful people? How are we hailing today? You guys feeling alright? You guys feeling good? I know I are. I are feeling peachy keen. So anyways, today I thought I would talk about minimalism as it relates to workout routines, because a lot of people will, discuss all sorts of ideas about the proper way to destroy your body using, big, strong, worky-outy shenanigans, right? And, a lot of people are interested in bulking up just because that is one way to get female attention and validation. Yes, of course, it does work. Chad does in fact get the girl because of the way he bulks. It is mathematically true. And so if you're looking for that and you don't really care about the results or consequences, just go do gear and get it over with, right? Does it make sense to prolong it and make your life any objectively worse or better? But there's another category I think that's important to think about too, and that's more so people that are interested in, working out because it makes them feel good, right? And so that's at least what I'm trying to hit up when I hit up a minimalistic workout routine, or what I mean by that. So ideally, at least in my opinion, you should have a body that's as light as humanly possible and requires the least amount of calories to function if we're talking about being optimal, right? And so by definition, you have to be fairly skinny to make that happen. And then also, you should try and have a body which, will do well in any sort of circumstance, so cold, warm, heat, etc. That too is another thing to consider with minimalistic working out. So ideally, you want a body that's capable of doing everything physical you need to do, isn't going to be too cold or too warm, and also is entirely, within reach, right? Without the use of any sort of bloody boosting chemicals, we'll call them, gear, whatever you want to call it, right? And so why am I so down on gear? I think much like the transgender people, the people that, pursue gym culture a little bit too much, that take these chemicals and, nuke their body with it and do all that things, they're just a different form of like the whole gender dysphoria idea. So they're like overcompensating for it and, doing something that's potentially harmful to them. Now, if you want to bodybuild and not use gear and like do it the right way, and you just want a natural aesthetic body, there's nothing wrong with you. You're the exception, though, to the rule. Let's be clear here. The vast majority of the gym bro culture, in fact, is people that are mostly doing things like doing, roids all the time and then lifting until they puke. And it's just, one, it's wasteful on just a calorie front and a money front. Not only does the gear cost you money, but it also costs you calories and extra food you have to consume, etc. So I would say it's not compatible with a minimalistic lifestyle. And certainly you should do at least some physical activity, but it's time to talk about exactly what I think is ideal for like a minimalist sort of bent. Now, if you want to purchase weights and workout set, you definitely can. I actually did because I enjoy the whole working out, running, jumping, climbing trees stuff when I'm not playing video games. Surprising, I know, but, I do enjoy being physical, at least somewhat, but I don't, if you're not someone that enjoys that or you don't want to, you don't really need to. Calisthenics is perfectly viable for at least a minimalist body workout routine. And so what does that entail, though? So ideally you want to be on the lowest possible weight you can be without being, classified on the BMI scale as being underweight. So for instance, I'm 5'7", so that's right around 120, 130 pounds, which is what I'm at currently. And I could go lower, obviously. I could starve myself further, let my muscle mass decay off, whatever little bits there are, and then that would be that. But then it's annoying in the winter. Basically, it's a little bit too chilly. Modern technology has made it so it's very easy to put on additional layers if you want to be warm, but, it makes it a lot harder to get cool in the summer, so that's another reason why an ideally slim body is better. And again, if you're doing all of this for women, just do roids, just do gear, suffer through the back acne and all of the other complications that are involved with it, destroy your internal organs. Because at the end of the day, you only really care about getting your DS, right? So, if it comes down to it, go ahead and do that. Be you king, slay out there. But for those of us that are interested in a minimalist lifestyle and being alone, pretty much particularly, that doesn't seem to be an efficient route. So an efficient route, I think, for a minimalist workout routine is just enough to keep you physically active while also not overdoing it with the muscle growth so that you consume additional calories. So ideally, what that means is you should probably do less than 100 push-ups, sit-ups, whatever you want to do a day. I'd recommend compound exercises almost exclusively, that is, exercises that target multiple muscle groups. So, if you want like a basic routine that you could do pretty much daily and it not have any negative impacts on you as far as minimalism goes, just do, as many push-ups as you can, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 100 or whatever. Maybe not go too far above that because then you might be, generating serious muscle mass. Same thing for squats, do as many as you realistically can before it hurts. And then probably just do planking for a couple minutes and that'll be that, right? And so you can get all of that done within 15 minutes realistically every single day, and that should keep you at least in shape enough to be able to move and function around without having any negative impact on your body or your total weight, so you can continue to degrade and continue to move towards having to consume less calories a day. For instance, I survive on around 1,000 calories a day. Sometimes I eat more, sometimes I eat like 1,400 when I'm feeling hungry, but most days I'm around 1,000 calories and still maintaining my weight pretty nicely. So, you might want to eat more than that just because, it's like more, not even a full bag of chips for the entire day for a lot of people. So a lot of people might start out a lot higher than that, but that's personally what I'm doing, and I find it to be acceptable. And again, you might have, 5, 6, 7, 8 inches of height on me, so all of this is not really practical if you're a tall boy. You're going to have to adjust it to, your minimalistic body, and just look at your BMI chart, for instance, for your height and see exactly what your ideal weight range should be, and then, get as close to the bottom of it as you can, and then just sit there. Being underweight isn't ideal. It has negative implications as well as being overweight is obviously bad for you. So for a minimalistic body routine, literally just do the basics and eat, very, very light meals. I, for instance, will only have usually 2 meals a day. I've really been into oatmeal recently, so I eat, just one oatmeal and then something like a 600 calorie homemade pizza, rice and veggies, something like that for the other, 6 to 700 calories, and that'll be what I eat every day. So oatmeal in the morning, then a dinner, something nice and small. And then if I'm hungry, I'll have like another bowl of oatmeal, or, maybe I'll make a piece of bread or something like that. And that's like a very minimalistic diet, and that's going to save you a lot of money on just, if I really wanted to, I could be eating for pennies a day with just like rice, occasionally beans, have some lemons so you don't get dysentery, although there's enough chemicals and all the random stuff that you're occasionally going to buy once every few weeks to sustain you. You don't really need to worry about that in the first world, but in the third world, yeah, having some form of citrus to combat scurvy is a good idea if you're pursuing that route in particular. But yeah, other than that, it's not really complicated for a minimalistic sort of body and workout session. Just do the minimal amount of physical activity that's going to get you the most dopamine. And so why do I suggest going for a very minimalistic workout routine after I've, tried a whole bunch of them and what I found? I found that pushing yourself to fatigue often leaves you feeling, pain the next day. And of course, you can feel when your muscles start growing, it's abiogenesis or whatever it's called, whatever the word for it is. Usually it's that burning sensation when you're working out, right? That's how you know you're building muscle at that point. So ideally, if you want the most dopamine for the least amount of effort, which is what a minimalistic lifestyle would be about, you should work out to the point where you feel the dopamine hit. So, that's pretty much just before or at the point where you start abiogenesis, and then simply stopping from there. So, if you want an idea of how many push-ups you should do push-ups until you feel the burning sensation and then stop. You get all of the dopamine without having to invest more time, and you can also drag your dopamine gains out over time instead of having to specifically, trying to push for, being as powerful or having as big muscles as humanly possible, right? So ideally, when you're trying to do some sort of a minimalistic workout or what you're going for, you're wanting to get the best feeling for the least amount of effort. And so that's why I would take that route. I'm not interested in how the opposite sex sees me or how society sees me or whatever. I don't go outside. Like, I'm retired at this point, so I'm not really interested in any of that. I'm going to spend the rest of my days alone, so I want my body to feel the absolute best that it can feel while I do that, which means that I'm going for basically doing, however many push-ups and, squats, for instance, and like planking that I can do. Like, those three are very simple to do. Compound exercises, you can get them done 15 minutes a day. You get your feel-good chemicals, keeps the depression away, etc. And yeah, and you do get positive results from working out. Just any sort of movement or any sort of your brain generates dopamine for the physical activity you do. So it's basically just like trying to hack your brain into giving you free dopamine and keeping the invasive thoughts away. So that would be primarily what I would seek to do in a minimalistic workout routine, or what I practice at least. Now, you might not want to have a stick figure body that looks like an emaciated child. I understand, but, different strokes for different folks, obviously. If your life situation or your goals are different than mine, then certainly go ahead. But if you want to consume the least amount of calories humanly possible, then I would strongly suggest, at least as a man, pursuing that kind of a minimalistic workout side. And even if you're someone else, or you're not someone that works out, just doing the bare minimum will at least get you a free dopamine hit, right? And Lord knows life is all about struggling to attain dopamine. Anyways, I'll leave you with that and let you mull that over. You have a great day. Bye-bye.